You know what time it is? It is time for Sports 360, and the name remains Mark Osifu. We're jumping straight to the NBA. The regular season of the 2024-25 NBA season is drawing to a close, and soon the playoff season will kick in. The Golden State Warriors, who were looking like not making the playoffs after a string of performances, are now looking like a sure bet to make this season's playoffs, and this can be attributed to the arrival of Jimmy Butler. Golden State needed to find someone who could take the load off Stephen Curry and brought in Dennis Schroeder, who quite didn't make the cut and was traded to the Utah Jazz. Although the Jazz themselves have traded Schroeder, and they, at the end of the day, they changed directions and decided to go for Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. But Giannis had other plans. He wanted to remain a Buck, and Kevin Durant was also sought after from the Phoenix Suns. But Kevin Durant did not want to rejoin the Golden State Warriors. Remember, he was part of the Golden State Warriors at the time that won the championship, and he felt that he was unduly treated the last time he was there. So there is no need to return to the place, especially as Draymond Green. Yes, Draymond is still part of the Golden State Warriors. So the Warriors had no choice but to settle for Jimmy Butler. There were some who felt that Jimmy Butler was too old to join the franchise, and others felt he was trouble. Yes, remember his infamous rift. Yes, his infamous rift with Miami that got him traded. But at the end of the day, he is looking like the exact thing that the Golden State Warriors needed, because the man has brought in stability to the team, and he hasn't made a rift so far about being the second man in the Bay Area, allowing Curry to hog the headlines as the team's franchise player. In contrast, the Dallas Mavericks, who looked like a shoe-in for the playoffs, are struggling right now, and if they eventually don't make the playoffs, I doubt if it will come as any surprise after they traded Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis. If they were adding Davis to their franchise, one would clearly understand, but giving up Doncic for AD was a huge mistake, if you ask me, especially as he came in and immediately got himself injured for an indefinite amount of time. Now, Kyrie, you remember Kyrie too has got injured and he's out for the rest of the season. Klay Thompson isn't the player we used to know back in the days in the Golden State Warriors, and right now, can only Klay Thompson take the Dallas Mavericks to the conference finals? That remains to be seen. We expected Dallas to add a piece or two and really push for the championship this season, but instead they made an error in judgment and might not even make the playoffs. Then we're moving over straight to the world of football. Yes, midweek saw Champions League games round of 16 being played. Yeah, Club Brugge in Belgium were defeated by Aston Villa. Villa defeated Club Brugge 3-1. Real Madrid in another program. I said Real Madrid know how to navigate the Champions League, and yes, they are a different beast, a different animal when it comes to the Champions League. They defeated Atletico Madrid by 2-1. Yes, the tie is very much still open, but then again, you can never write out Real Madrid. Madrid defeating Atletico 2-1 after losing at the weekend to Real Betis 2-1. I told everybody not to look into that tie too much, because definitely Real Madrid will be saving all their gases for Atletico game, and yes, it found out exactly as I predicted. PSV were defeated in Holland by Arsenal 7-1. I thought PSV had a chance because Arsenal are lacking strikers right now, but then again, without strikers, yes, without any renowned striker, Arsenal blew PSV away 7-1. Dortmund were held at home by Lille 1-1. Feyenoord lost to Inter Milan too, and in that other program I did say Inter Milan were no AC Milan and will not falter against Feyenoord. They would go to Holland and get the result, and the result they did get. Yes, Bayern Munich defeated Leverkusen by 3-0. Since Xabi Alonso took over the helms of Leverkusen, they have played Bayern a total of 6 times prior to this encounter and had not lost. So everyone expected them to at least get a draw in this one. It didn't happen. Bayern Munich defeated them 3-0. One thing we need to understand is that there are those who know how to play these tournaments, those who are seasoned in this tournament, and Bayern is one of such clubs. PSG, yes, PSG took on Liverpool, another season campaigner in the Champions League, and Liverpool did not disappoint. Yes, they looked like they were being overrun by PSG, but then the experience came to the fore, and Liverpool left Parc des Princes with the results they needed. They are taking a 1-goal lead back to Anfield. And in the reverse fixtures, yes, reverse fixtures, we're going to see Aston Villa taking on Club Brugge. Atletico Madrid will be up against Real Madrid. Arsenal, yes, Arsenal, this tie is over for me. There's nothing PSV can do about this. I do not see them defeating Arsenal by 8-0. Arsenal, I'm happy for them. They have qualified in my book. Lille will be taking on Dortmund. A tough ask for Dortmund because they couldn't get the result they needed in Germany. Inter Milan, yes, will be taking on Feyenoord. Yes, Feyenoord. We tried to want to bring up an upset, but then again, I want to believe that Inter has put this game to bed already. Leverkusen will be up against Bayern. I do not see Leverkusen defeating Bayern by 3-0. So for me, this tie is done and done. Liverpool will be up against PSG. Yes, PSG will have all the possessions, will have all the play, all the shots, and will they be able to get the result? That is the tough question. Do we want to say congratulations to Liverpool? Well, not just yet, because we do know that PSG would be a force to reckon with. And in the Europa League, we saw Real Sociedad taking on Manchester United. Yes, Real Sociedad could not defeat Manchester United. They played out a 1-1 draw. And FCSB were defeated at home by Lyon 3-1. Fenerbahce were also defeated at home 3-1. And not a good one for Jose Mourinho's side. Yes, Rangers of Scotland defeating them by 3-1. Isaac Alkmaar also defeating Tottenham Hotspur 1-0. Victoria Pleasant were defeated at home by Lazio 2-1. Yes, Lazio going away to Pleasant and defeating them. No surprises there. Bodo Glimt defeating Olympiacos 3-0. Bodo Glimt defeating Olympiacos is nothing special, but defeating them by 3-0 is something huge. Ajax were defeated at home by Eintracht Frankfurt by 2-1. AS Roma defeating Atletico Bilbao of Spain 2-1. And in the reverse, we're going to see Manchester United taking on Real Sociedad. Manchester has a real chance. They did not lose in Spain, but Old Trafford, remember, Old Trafford is no more the fortress that it used to be. Lyon will be taking on FCSB. Rangers will be at home to Fenerbahce. Rangers, remember, defeating Fenerbahce by 3-1. I want to also believe that this tie is done and dusted. Tottenham will be taking on AZ Alkmaar. AZ Alkmaar hold a slender 1-0 advantage. Will that be enough for them to go through? Lazio will be at home to Victoria Pleasant, and I do not think that Pleasant should be able to come to Italy and take the results they need. Olympiacos will be at home to Bodo Glimt. I want to believe that tie is over. Eintracht Frankfurt will be taking on Ajax. Yes, another game that I want to believe that Ajax will not be able to pull through. And Athletic Bilbao will be taking on Roma. Roma hold a very slender lead. Will Bilbao be able to come back? Remember the brothers in Bilbao, definitely the Ghanaian brothers. Oh, sorry, one is Spanish, one is Ghanaian. Will they be able to spring a surprise over Roma? That remains to be seen. And remember to drop us a comment. Who do you think will qualify in the Champions League, in the Europa League? There were no EPL games played last weekend because, yes, you know it, it was the 5th round of the FA Cup. And in the FA Cup, we saw Nottingham Forest and Ipswich Town play out a 1-1 draw. Game went into penalties, and Ipswich defeating Forest by 5-4 on penalties. Manchester United as well with Fulham played a 1-1 draw. That game also went to extra time and penalties, and Fulham defeating Manchester United by 4-3. Bournemouth and Wolves also ended 1-1. Game went to penalties, and Bournemouth won 5-4. Crystal Palace defeating the Championship side Millwall by 3-1. Manchester City defeating Plymouth 3-1. Preston North End defeating Burnley 3-0. Aston Villa defeating Cardiff 2-0. And lastly, Brighton defeating Newcastle at home 2-1. Yes, this week Premiership games return, and we're going to see Nottingham Forest taking on Man City. Nottingham Forest are losing steam, and Manchester City are picking up steam, so I want to believe that Manchester City should be able to get the result in this one. It's a Manchester City win or draw for me. Brighton will be taking on Fulham. Fulham, yes, Brighton will be up against Fulham. Two sides, yes, that are really doing good things in the EPL. I want to believe that Brighton are home This game looks like a full-time draw for me. Crystal Palace will be up against Ipswich. Crystal Palace should be able to defeat Ipswich. Liverpool will be taking on Southampton. Liverpool, yes, should be able to get all 3 points against Southampton. And we have Brentford taking on Aston Villa. Aston Villa, yes, are really firing on all cylinders right now. They're difficult to predict against. Chelsea will be up against Leicester. Chelsea should be able to get a win against Leicester. Besides, they do need a win. Tottenham Hotspur will be up against Bournemouth. And would the Spurs be able to defeat Bournemouth? Do not forget that they have a midweek tie to navigate in the Europa League. Manchester United will be up against Arsenal. Manchester United still has a big clash. Definitely, they are taking on Real Sociedad. Remember, that game ended 1-1. United needs to qualify, and Arsenal has already qualified in the Champions League. They defeated PSV 7-1, which should be enough. This tie favors Arsenal. Unfortunately, they still don't have a striker, but I think the tie favors them more, so I'm going with an Arsenal win or draw. Then moving over to the Bundesliga, last week we saw Leipzig defeated at home by Mainz 2-1. St. Pauli were also defeated at home by Dortmund 2-0. Leverkusen, yes, Leverkusen defeating Eintracht Frankfurt at home 4-1. Yes, they scored 4 goals against Frankfurt, forgetting that they needed to reserve some goals against Bayern. Stuttgart lost at home to Bayern Munich 3-1. Augsburg and Freiburg played out a goalless draw. This weekend we're going to see Leverkusen taking on Werder Bremen. I want to believe that Bayer Leverkusen should be able to get a win or a draw against Bremen. Definitely they won't have one eye on the tie against Bayern for me, because that tie is done and done. Bayern will be taking on Bochum. Another win, another straight win for me, because definitely Bayern knows they have done the job against Leverkusen. Dortmund will be up against Augsburg. This is a tricky tie because Dortmund will have one eye against Lille in their Champions League fixture. Freiburg will be at home to Leipzig, and Austin Kiel should be able to get the result against Stuttgart, because Stuttgart are fluttering right now. I don't know what is wrong with them. They used to be a very, very good side. In the Serie A last week, we saw Juventus defeating Hellas Verona by 2-0. Bologna defeating Cagliari 2-1. AS Roma defeating Como. Yes, you know Como, the club coached by Cesc Fabregas, who has the likes of Nico Paz in their midfield. Nico Paz, very sought after player right now. Yes, the Argentine is being looked by all the big clubs, and everybody wants him in their ranks. But right now, it's as if he is going to move over to Inter Milan. Let's see if that move comes to pass. AC Milan were defeated at home by Lazio 2-1. Atlanta Venezia played out a goalless draw, and in the tie of the round, we saw Napoli taking on Inter, first versus second, and the game ended in a 1-1 draw. This weekend, we're going to see Como taking on Venezia. I want to believe that Cesc Fabregas was able to get the result against Venezia. Lecce will be up against AC Milan. This season, AC Milan is in all sorts of places. You cannot predict what they are going to come up with on the night, and it's looking very, very dire for Coach Conceição right now. He just came into the helm of the club in December, and right now he's looking as if he might not even last the season. Inter Milan will be taking on Monza. Yes, Inter Milan for me should be able to get the result against Monza. That one for me should be one draw, no bet. Napoli will be taking on Fiorentina. One of the big ties of the round. Napoli in first place should be able to get a win or a draw against Fiorentina. Empoli will be up against Roma. I want to believe that Roma, yes, they will have one eye on their Europa League tie, but then again, I see them getting a result against Empoli. Hellas Verona will be up against Bologna. Bologna, one of the informed sides in the Serie A. Juventus will be taking on Atlanta. That's the tie of the round. Atlanta, now that they should be performing, are losing steam, and Juventus is catching up with them. If Juventus can defeat Atlanta in this game, Juventus will be back in the Scudetto conversations. Yes, Juventus will be back in the conversations for the league title. And Thiago Motta, congratulations to you, because your job was looking shaky at a point, but right now I believe that if they can defeat Atlanta, he would have cemented his feet as coach of Juventus. Then on Monday, we're going to see Lazio taking on Udinese. Then moving over straight to Ligue 1. Last week in Ligue 1, we saw Lyon defeating Brest by 2-1. Auxerre lost at home to my favorite side in Ligue 1, Strasbourg. Strasbourg defeating them by 1-0. Montpellier were defeated at home by Rennes 4-0. Marseille defeating Nantes 2-0. Saint-Etienne lost at home to Nice 3-1. PSG won rather. They lose. Yeah, they won at Parc des Princes 4-1, defeating Lille. And Lens were defeated at home by Le Havre 4-3. That was a very surprising result for everybody who watched that game. And this week we're going to see Rennes taking on PSG. This is a chance for Rennes to be able to get the result over PSG. Why? Because PSG definitely will be concentrating more on their tie in the Champions League against Liverpool. Remember, PSG lost at home to Liverpool 1-0, and they need to get to Anfield and be able to pick up a result, which means that they might most likely rest a player or two against Rennes. So if Rennes want to get anything over PSG, I think it is now. Lille will be taking on Montpellier. Marseille will be up against Lens. Nice will be taking on Lyon, and Nantes will be up against Strasbourg. La Liga last week saw Barca defeating Real Sociedad by 4-0. Yes, remember we did say Betis defeating Real Madrid by 2-1. Yes, and Real Madrid took that defeat, went back to the Bernabeu and defeating Atletico 2-1. Yes, they had an eye on the Champions League, so they can be forgiven. Atletico Madrid defeating Athletic Bilbao 1-0. Rayo Vallecano defeating played out a 1-1 draw with Sevilla. Osasuna also played out a 3-3 draw with Valencia. And this week in the La Liga, this weekend in La Liga, we're going to see Barca taking on Osasuna. Getafe will be up against Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid will be up against Rayo Vallecano. Athletic Bilbao will be taking on Real Mallorca. And Real Betis will be up against Las Palmas. Real Sociedad will be taking on Sevilla. Now we're moving over to your favorite segment. Yes, I know it is. We're talking about the top 5 from the Big 5. Yes, it's prediction time. Top 5 from the Big 5. And we're starting off with the La Liga. And this week, my pick for this week is Real Betis taking on Las Palmas. Yes, I want to believe that Real Betis should be able to get a result against Las Palmas. So I'm going with 1 draw, no bet. Over to the League 1, I'm going with Marseille versus Lens. Yes, Marseille versus Lens. Marseille will be at the Stade Velodrome taking on Lens. And I want to believe that Marseille should be able to get a result against Lens. That is another 1 draw, no bet for me in the French Ligue 1. Over to Syria. It is Inter Milan versus Monza for me, and Inter Milan should be able to get 1 over Monza. That is another 1 draw, no bets. Yes, in the Bundesliga, my pick is definitely Leverkusen up against Werder Bremen. Why Leverkusen? To me, they should understand that the tie against Bayern is lost, so they should concentrate on the Bundesliga, and that's why I believe it's Leverkusen. 1 draw, no bet. And lastly, the English Premier League will be Chelsea up against Leicester City. I want to believe that Chelsea has a chance to get all 3 points against Leicester, but we're going with the safe bet. We're going with 1 draw, no bet. And on that note, we say thank you for sticking around. The name remains Marco Sifo. Do not forget to drop us a comment. Please tell us what you think about FIFA introducing an halftime show in the next World Cup finals, and let's know your opinion. And next week we'll be doing it again.